Neno hili si hivyo.
Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. ODM party is giving William Ruto serious political headache. ODM party is coming up with a new demand. The demand for the position of the running mate.
Kuna kitu ingine watu wengine wali misinterpret. Walisema ati mimi nilisema ati sisi hatutaki kiti cha Deputy President. Hiyo kiti ya Deputy President ndio tunalenga sana. Hiyo ndio tunalenga. Ile kitu ambayo mimi nilisema ya kwamba huyo Deputy President hatuna nini chuki na yeye kwa binafsi. Yeye binafsi hatuna maneno naye. Lakini hiyo kiti ni kiti ya public. Election ikifanyika,
the champion, the lion is here.
Asante. We are not going to look for less. Lakini Deputy President, usifikiria ya kwamba tunataka kiti yako, tunataka kukufukuza. Please, you are our friend, but as we negotiate, we are going to negotiate what our people deserve. We are going to negotiate what our party deserves. Our party is not a Jaluo party. It is a party for the whole of Kenya. And therefore, we are going to negotiate fairly. We don't want tribal parties. Hatutaki tribalists kuongeza nchi yetu. So we are going to negotiate, and we are not going to take anybody's share. We are only going to make sure that everybody gets their fair share in the national cake.
And should William Ruto agree to their demands, it's only going to mean one thing, that Professor Kithure Kindiki is going to be kicked out as the Deputy President. Do you think William Ruto can sacrifice Professor Kithure Kindiki for someone else from ODM party?
Mimi niwaulize kama ilikuwa ule jamaa mwingine. Niwaulize angekuwa na akili ya kuelewa mambo vile huyu jamaa anaelewa? Professor Kindiki ni fire, si fire bwana. Sasa mnajua kazi yangu imekuwa rahisi, kwa sababu leo niko na msaidizi ambaye anaelewa mambo ya serikali, anaelewa barabara, anaelewa stima, anaelewa universal health coverage, anaelewa elimu, anaelewa mpaka hata maneno ya savings, anaelewa mambo ya serikali. Kindiki ni fire, si fire. Sindio bwana?
The truth of the matter is that the death of Raila Amolo Odinga is the reason why ODM party are pressing those demands. Because if Raila Odinga was alive, I can assure you, William Ruto would have just sat down with him and agreed on the way forward. But with the death of Raila Odinga and with the war we are witnessing in ODM party, they are now coming up with these demands. But will William Ruto agree?
Niliona juzi pale Mombasa ODM wakisema wameanza kuangalia kama wanaweza pata kiti ya Deputy President 2027. Mimi nataka kuambia tunashukuru kwamba tumeshikana kama broad based. na tumeshukuru kwamba mmepatiwa viti tofauti, na serikali ni kubwa, viti ni mingi sana, lakini kiti ya Deputy President ni ya Kithure Kindiki, ni ya Profesa Kithure. Na kama mnataka kiti ingine, hiyo ni sawa, lakini hiyo tafadhali mjue hiyo haiwezi guzwa na mtu. Hiyo ni ya kijana yetu anaitwa Profesa Kithure.
And as expected, the reaction from the mountain is already outside there. The mountain are warning William Ruto that if you touch Kindiki, utakuwa umeguza Mount Kenya and will be willing to leave the government and join the other camp.
Tulikubali na tumekubali broadbase kwa sababu lazima tuunganishe Kenya yote, lakini kiti cha Deputy President, it is non-negotiable. Hata Mo hawezi kupata hiyo kiti. Wakisema atisiwa Kithure Abraham Kindiki, sisi Mount Kenya na sisi tutoke broadbase, na sisi tutoke broadbase. Ule ambaye ameshikilia Mount Kenya kwa serikali ya Kenya kwanza, pale juu tunapenda Rais William Ruto, lakini namba 2 ni Kithure Kindiki na tunamuita vazi.
Jana maninjuzi tumesikia pale Mombasa, kinara wa chama ya ODM Senator Omburu amejitokeza akasema chama cha ODM inataka kiti ya naibu wa rais come 2027. Sisi tunataka kuambia namna hii tukiwa hapa katika ikona ya mlima. Chama ya ODM tumekubali, tuko katika broad based government na tutafanya katika serikali ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto tukiwa broad based government, tukiwa tumeshikana kuendeleza umoja wa taifa letu na kuhakikisha kwamba serikali ya Kenya inafanyia wananchi wa Kenya kazi sawa sawa.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you think William Ruto, I'm just asking you whether you support broad-based or not. Do you think William Ruto should replace Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki with someone from ODM party? For me, if you are to ask me, ODM party are demanding a position which for me is not significant. We saw when William Ruto was the deputy president to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, what happened. At some point, William Ruto could not even afford to order tea and mandazi for his office. Those are the realities. William Ruto only survived because he knew how to maneuver politics, and of course he had enough resources to even run his office. At some point he was even running his office through his pocket. When Rigathi Gachagua was William Ruto's deputy president, you saw what happened. So if I were to advise ODM party, I'd not advise them to demand that position. Of course, that position is very important. The holder can actually become the president. Should the president die, should the conditions which can create vacancy in that office. So it would be easy for someone holding that office to easily take over. But that position for me, it doesn't have a lot of value. If I were them, I'd demand for more positions. For example, today, even if you are to remove Kindiki and you leave Mount Kenya with the number of cabinet slots they have, they'll be good. If ODM wants to be taken seriously, if I were them, I'd not put a lot of demands on the position of the deputy president. Instead, I'll ask the government, or William Ruto for that matter, that okay, we are going into this deal. This is what I want. I want 6, 7, or 8 slots. And they are very specific. And then you go, apart from the slots for the CS, you go now for the PS. You insist you want this, you want this, you want this, and you also want this. That way they'll be safe. But remember, William Ruto is also in a situation where he needs to win his re-election. And winning re-election only means that you must have the numbers. between Kindiki and ODM. Who brings the numbers? That's a subject for discussion because Kindiki was able to deliver in Better North. Based on the reaction from the mountain, if he can play his politics well, he can actually deliver because, of course, politics is also a perceptual game. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to talk about this running mate. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen or have you watched the Russian guy videos? Have you watched those videos? Ni kubaya. And because that's not our forte, I'm not going to talk about them. But I want to hear your opinion about the Russian guy, whether what he did in Kenya was wrong or whether our women have lowered the bar. Ladies and gentlemen, as I wait for your comments below, let me proceed with our analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think ODM is actually placing the demands to Ruto? Even before the fallout, even before Edwin Sifuna was removed, two camps had actually emerged in ODM party. There was a camp which was saying, let us support William Ruto without conditions. Because William Ruto has proved that even without conditions, he can keep his words. And then they go ahead and explain that during the Grand Coalition, where agreements were signed, those conditions were never fulfilled by Mwai Kibaki. They're also arguing that Uhuru and Raila actually penned an agreement which were never fulfilled. And then, so that's the first camp, which is non-conditional. Let us support Ruto, let him win. Then from there, from our votes now, he can give us more slots. Then there's the other camp which are saying that we cannot just join government like that. We must have conditions as a party. That ODM, before entering into any coalition with Ruto, they must agree with Ruto that, you know, we are going to support you. This is what we want. We want A, B, C, D. So the president will tell them, I'm able to fulfill this, this, and this. So if they won't be in an agreement, then he will tell them, okay. They will tell him, no, we are not part of it. And therefore, go to the next available coalition. So those are some of the intrigues. But we all know that for Ruto, he needs to win, which means he can either persuade ODM to support him without conditions or with conditions. Because for Ruto is looking at very many things. Number one is the winning formation. For William Ruto, the most important thing for him is to win. That's the first thing. He must win. And how can William Ruto win? He can only win with the numbers. So who can give William Ruto the numbers? It depends. ODM party is currently divided. Can a divided ODM party assure William Ruto of votes? Or can William Ruto then now decide, let me keep Kindiki, then try and fight for the votes in the mountain? He can even decide, okay, the mountain is going, but now we have Mount Kenya, East and West. I want to focus on East. Then persuade ODM that, okay, you guys, you want the running mate, but I'm not going to give you the running mate. This is what I'm going to offer you. ODM party will agree. Then you can figure out, if I give ODM party and there's support to support me, with the support now, Kindiki can easily now deliver the mountain. Because if Ruto were to remove Kindiki today, I mean, how will he even face the mountain after Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment? How? He can't. He won't. So Ruto is looking for the winning formation. But if that winning formation will force him to give the ODM party their demands, then he will have to do that. But for me, if I were to advise ODM party, I could be wrong. The position of the running mate, he can decide, okay, let me give you the running mate. Do you think William Ruto can give the ODM party the running mate, still give them the finance, still give them the energy? Do you think he can do that? He will have to sacrifice one. But for me, if you are to ask me, the finance and the deputy, I'd pick the finance. Because with that, you work very closely with the chair of the budget committee. Kuna vitu mtakuwa mnafanya tu kichini chini. By the time people realize, it's late. A deputy president can be made not to even meet. That's number two. A good running mate for Ruto is also someone who can complement his character. You know, Ruto is a typical political animal. Ruto is a typical political animal. So he needs someone who can cool things down for him. You see, the problem which was there between Uhuru and Ruto was that Ruto is aggressive. Uhuru is not. But Uhuru was the boss. So Ruto was too aggressive to an extent that at some point would even go to an event and articulate government policies in the presence of the president. So that by the time the president was starting out to speak, he had nothing to say. Rigathi was also like Uhuru. Rigathi was also like Ruto. But now we had Ruto aggressive, Rigathi aggressive. There's no way they could work. Kindiki is working with Ruto because of his character. So I think Ruto is looking at someone like that. In ODM party, who can fit that bill? Because in ODM party, we have Gladys Wanga, ambitious. I doubt if Gladys Wanga can work with Ruto. Now that Ruto is the president and let's say he says, okay, I'm giving you Gladys Wanga, the running mate. I doubt if they can work together because Gladys is too aggressive. Gladys is ambitious. Ruto in his second term would not want someone like that. Oburu Odinga, maybe, because Oburu Odinga at his age would not want to become the president. He would not even campaign. He would be like another Moody Award. Just work, then go home. Babu Owino or Sifuna, because at some point I was told that Raila really wanted to work with Ruto, but have Sifuna as his running mate. Again, ingekuwa na maneno hapo pia. So the truth is, Ruto wants someone who can complement his character. And number three, the potential president. You see, when Ruto appointed Rigathi as his running mate, he automatically elevated Rigathi to a position where if something had happened to Ruto, Rigathi would have been the president. But is Rigathi Gachagua a presidential material? I'm just asking. I'm coming in peace. Because I know what to worry. Rigathi, oh no, excuse me, you don't like me. Yeah? But the truth is, there is something Rigathi lacks when it comes to being presidential. Kindiki is presidential. If anything were to happen to Ruto today, Kindiki would easily take over and will be able to run the country. So I think that's why Ruto might actually retain Kindiki. And of course, the betrayal tag. You see, the mountain voted for Ruto to the last man. I doubt if, mark that, Ruto would want the mountain to view him as someone whom they supported and betrayed them once again. Until next time, this is Makwiny.